Mr. Glenn Kleiner comes to us today from Rockville, Texas. He recently retired after 32 years as an ag science instructor, most recently in Round Rock. He is currently employed as a manager at Producers Cooperative Association in Bryan, Texas. Glenn has been judging poultry shows across the state of Texas for the past 25 years, from local schools and county shows, as well as San Antonio livestock shows. He lives with his wife Shannon and two kids, Riley and Jackson. They raise commercial branded cattle and registered Texas Longhorn cattle. His kids are actively involved in their local 4-H and FFA clubs, showing swine and poultry projects across the country. Today, joining him is his daughter, Riley, who will be shadowing him with the duties as judge. Thank y'all for being here. Let's give them a round of applause. Y'all come in and line up. Y'all ready? Okay.
Howdy, my name is Clay Workman, and I'm from the Silver Forest Club.
Our belt buckle sponsors for the champion senior broiler showmanship is McCurdy Tire, Ronnie McCurdy, Centerville. Reserve is Last Chance Design, Samantha Jones of Buffalo. And I'm going to be assisted in handing these prizes out by Eyes Closed over on Young Leon County 2026 person.
All right, thank y'all for having me out to judge the Leon County show. I really appreciate the opportunity to come out and work with your families and your kids. Again, my name is Glenn Kleinert, and this is my daughter Riley Kleinert that's out here helping me with Showmanship today. She was the one asking the questions and stuff, and I'm going to actually let her talk and give y'all some reasons on why we selected our champion senior showmanship and our reserve champion showmanship. But if you would, before she speaks, if you would give these 5 exhibitors a round of applause. Sometimes it takes a little bit of extra effort to come out here and do showmanship. A lot of kids don't want to do showmanship because they just want to show. So, you need somebody, especially in broiler showmanship, to come out here that wants to talk. Whereas in most showmanship, it's just all about showing the animal. With broilers, it's being knowledgeable about your subject, about your project, and being able to articulate that while we're asking questions. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to my daughter Riley, and she's going to talk about the grand senior showmanship and the reserve senior showmanship.
So hi, my name is Riley Kleinert. It's always great to come out with my dad and help judge. I love doing this with him, even though I'm a pig girl to heart. But I love being in the chicken ring and doing showmanship because that's what I consider is the most important thing of showing, whether your animal is grand champion or it gets last in the show. Still, showmanship is the one thing that you should be focused on, and I feel like everybody should at least get out here once in the showmanship arena and be able to answer questions and be knowledgeable about your project and why do you want to do this. And so the 3 questions I asked was just tell me about your project, what are the 5 components of a market broiler that we look for, and then why do you do this? Why do you decide to put these animals in your barn, spend time away from extracurriculars and get out of school and all of this? It isn't just for an excused absence, but there is a deeper meaning behind it. And so first I want to say to everybody, y'all did a fantastic job. I know people hear that a lot, but truly everybody did fantastic. And then also, I want everybody to just take a deep breath. Like, I'm a junior in high school. I promise it's scary. She's nicer than my mom. So I promise we're friendly. I promise we'll listen and we'll laugh and we'll smile at you. I've been in your shoes. I know how scary it gets. And so everybody did great. I could tell that y'all were all nervous. Nobody more than the black person. But this grand champion, this person stood out to me because every single time I asked a question, he looked into me and my dad's eyes, and he was able to answer it knowledgeably and give facts and real life experiences, and was able to list the things, especially with the 5 components. We got a little bit of a rusty start, but he did end up answering it in the end. So for your grand champion senior showmanship, I'll be the first guy that I judged. And then for reserve, it does get a little bit trickier for me and my dad. It comes down between 2 people. I just feel like I chose this person because it felt like I was having a genuine conversation with him. It wasn't any canned answers behind it. He truly just liked to talk about his project, and that's something that I really enjoy seeing. Like with kids my age, because I feel like sometimes we're getting too much into not animals, and agriculture is slowly fading away. And so for the reserve, it came down between this guy and this guy. But I think we decided that I'd be the second guy that I did.
Okay, congratulations. Grand champion showmanship goes to Paige Workman, and reserve goes to Cole Ware. Oh, sorry, Clay. Sorry. Okay, of applause. Our belt buckle sponsors for the Champion Intermediate Broiler Showmanship is Community National Bank. Our Reserve Intermediate Broiler Showmanship is Cadence Huntington National Bank.
Okay, so this is a very strong set of showmen. I came in here still from the highest. Oh, please give them a round of applause. Sorry. I came from the highest seniors, and I just asked them, tell me about your project, and then what was the biggest challenge that you faced within this project? And they all answered it very truthfully, very real to me, and I think they did listen to my advice and took a deep breath, because they were definitely much calmer. But there was one particular person that stood out to me for the champion. She definitely made a good first impression with me, and just continued that throughout their answer, and so enjoyed her project. And so your grand champion intermediate showmanship will be the young lady in the maroon shirt. And then for reserve questions, again, completely, I felt like sometimes you kind of got stuck up on something, you didn't really know something, and that kind of took him down a little bit. But he did so well, and I can tell that these kids really enjoy their project, and that showmanship is a big part of their life, and that they are very highly involved within their project. And so your reserve champion in music showmanship will be the young man.
That's it. If you would give them a round of applause, and we'll get to our juniors here.
is sponsored by the Odie family, Bubba and Lenora Odie. Intermediate, junior, Broiler. Reserve is Two Rivers Wildlife Alliance, just for two.
Can you all give all of these seniors a round of applause, please? They did a tremendous job, and I'm proud of each and every one of them. It was great to hear their stories, and I got cracking up a little bit throughout each and every one of them. I just asked them one question this time: just tell me about your project. And you can tell for each and every one of them, their personality really shined through, and that was the most funnest thing about this. And so our champion rose to the top because this person answered her question very fully, very correctly, knowledgeable, gave me all of the finish that I needed, and you can tell that she's very knowledgeable for a junior. And so your champion, please give a round of applause to this young lady. And then the reserve is just a little bit closer, I would say. But this kid, he had me crackling up a little bit. His personality shined through. He knew a lot about his project, giving me real life examples and stories, and just telling me his feeding program, and just telling me what he does on a daily basis. And it was really fun to hear, and see that he enjoys doing this and loves what he does. And so your reserve will be this young man.
All right, junior showmanship grand champion is Julia Young. Reserve is Brantley Dean. Okay, everybody, make your way. We won't get started until these juniors get to their pin and come back up here with their holders. But what we're going to do, we're going to file in around the ring, holders on the outside, exhibitor on the inside. Attention in the pig barn. Mr. Clark has advised you have to come and notify them which pig you're going to be showing in the market hog show tomorrow. So if you have not already done so, you need to go now. And it's 1:58. Buckle sponsor is Kelly Enterprises LLC in Centerville. And our reserve champion broiler buckle is Ezel Air Conditioning and Electric LLC Buffalo.
All right, if y'all would please give these exhibitors and their families a round of applause. I know a lot of people, when it comes to broiler shows, think they should just run through there and judge them really quickly, and I really could, but I don't feel like I'm doing the families or the kids justice. I wanted to make sure that I take my time. The first time I go through there, I have a pretty good idea. I can pick out your top end, and then from there, it's starting to try to deviate what I feel like are the differences in what I'm looking for in regards to a bird, and what's going to make it up into the top end of my show. My daughter earlier in Showmanship said she asked a question to the seniors. She asked, what are the 5 things that a judge looks for in a market broiler? The 5 things that a person looks for in a market broiler are length, width, and depth of the breast. Look for muscling, of course, and finish is the 5th thing. You have to have all 5 of those come together to have a really good pen of birds. Now there's some really good birds in individual pens here, but there's only 1. Maybe there's 2 in some cases. You get a little further down in the place and you can get down to just 1, and then there's the other 2 birds kind of throw it off a little bit. Now, I'm not going to be a judge that tells you I judge on uniformity. I don't judge on uniformity. And I'll sit here and tell you that there are very few judges out there anymore, nowadays, that actually come into a show and go, okay, I'm going to take the uniform pen of birds, no matter how big they are, as long as they're identical to each other. I don't feel like we're doing the industry any good, and we're not doing kids or exhibitors any good, because nowadays it's become about it's a fee program. It's how big you can get your birds. So when it comes to raising birds, we ask the kids, tell us about your program, and we kind of left it open-ended because we wanted to see what they were actually going to tell us. You know, some people came in and gave us very explicit, detailed answers in regards to their program, as far as what they feed, when they change, what the protein levels are and fat levels, and why they change them, when they change them. And that's good, because the kids need to understand this is their project, and if they're not learning anything from this, then what's the point of doing the project? Now, I will tell you the second thing. As a family, this is a family project. I'm going to tell you right now, the exhibitors that are here in the center of the arena, and the ones that are on the outside of the arena, or outside part of the ring, would not be where they're at without the family unit there to help them. There is no way an individual kid can take and raise an animal from start to finish, whether it's broilers, lambs, goats, pigs, steers, whatever. Raise an animal from start to finish and do an exceptional job, unless that's all they have to do. But nowadays our kids don't do that. They play sports. They've got after-school activities. They've got school. They've got tons of homework. They've got testing they've got to worry about. Lots of things they have to worry about. This is a family project. Okay? Everything in this barn is a family project. And it takes a family or a village to make that happen. Some of these families in here probably have grandparents that help out. That just adds to the family unit. Okay? It's not necessarily giving them an advantage. It just adds to the family unit. Because the more time you can spend with each other, the more family time you're going to get together. Because otherwise, what are we doing? We're scrolling on our phone, or we're watching TV, or we're doing something that's non-existent, basically. We're not spending time. And I'm going to tell you that spending time in the barn, hollering at each other, is definitely better than sitting in the house on the phone, scrolling through TikTok or Facebook or Snapchat or whatever you may be going through. That kind of brings me to my point before we get into talking a little bit about that. I want you to understand, I'm big on family unit. And it doesn't matter and when I say family unit, I'm talking about parents, step-parents, grandparents, and the kids' brothers and sisters. I'm not talking about just a family unit of mom and dad and kids. Okay, we're talking about everybody that's involved. It could be your neighbor that's just involved. Maybe your neighbor used to raise birds and they're helping you raise birds. That's part of your family unit now because they're helping you. That's important. Understand that we're only here for a short period of time. Okay? There's only one person that knows our end date, and that's the good Lord above. Okay? We all know our birthday because we're all born, but we don't know what's going to happen between the day we're born and the day that God calls us home. So we need to make the most of it. We don't want to think about it, but understand that next week, next month, next year, you could lose somebody very important in your life. Did you spend enough time with them? Did you make the time count that you had to spend with them? It's extremely important that you spend that time with family. I don't care if you're hollering at each other in the barn. It's still time spent. Okay? Everybody forgives, and we all get emotional, and we all get angry about things because maybe it's not done exactly the way we were doing it. But somebody that's open-minded, maybe you can learn from that after you calm down a little bit. All right? So understand, it's a big deal about family unity. Let me share a personal experience. I'll try to get through it without crying. Probably going to make her cry. But when I go back to not knowing the end date, there was at one point in 2021 that I was not going to be standing here. Okay, we all know what we dealt with in COVID in 2020. I didn't actually contract COVID until 2021. Didn't know I had COVID until I went to the emergency room. I was at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. If any of y'all remember Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo in 2021, there were no spectators. Strictly exhibitors and parents, ag teachers, and county agents. I was there as an ag teacher. I was there for the first wave of the pigs. Got my kids through there. My next wave came up. She was in my next wave, as well as one of my kids from school was in my next wave. They came up, dropped the pig off. Actually, her mom came up, brought the pig up. And I was going to get everything checked in the next day. She had a volleyball, she played club volleyball at the time. She had a volleyball tournament that weekend. She was going to come up after the volleyball tournament. This was on a Thursday night, March 12th. March 12th, I called my wife that evening after she got home, and I said, look, I don't feel good. I said, we need to go somewhere, so I need you to come back up here tonight to Houston, because we're going to have to go somewhere, because something's not right. I couldn't breathe. I was doing breathing treatments. I was doing a lot of different things I thought it was a shock choke crud. Any of y'all that have done shock chokes have all had shock choke crud. In 32 years of acting, I've had it plenty of times, and I thought it was shock choke crud. And it probably was. Ultimately, what it worked into was double pneumonia. She came back on the 12th, brought the kids, and I said, look, tell Riley I'm sorry. She's not going to make her volleyball tournament that weekend. I said, there's just no way. I said, I don't think we go into the doctor or hospital, wherever we go, I don't think I'm coming out. Or I don't know when I'm coming out is really what I was thinking. I tell people March 13th, 2021 until about April 27th, 2021 doesn't exist in my life. Okay? I was in a medically induced coma, intubated, had a trachea in my throat, and I was laying in a bed. Basically, the doctors were waiting for me to die. My wife, my daughter, and my son lived that horror. And there's a lot of y'all that probably had somebody that passed away during the COVID time, or had friends or somebody that you know that you lost during the COVID time. It was an extremely rough time. I can tell you based on what my wife told me, she got a phone call at midnight on March 17th, the day before she was going to show at Austin. And the nurse told her, she said, look, I'm going to tell you right now, your husband's got less than a 50% chance to live the next 10 days. As you can see, I'm still standing here. God is not done with me. I don't know why I'm still here, but God is not done with me, and I'm here to live for Him. And I encourage you, if you don't know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, talk to me afterwards. I'd love to visit with you. If you ever wondered if prayer works, I am living proof standing in front of you that prayer works. I tell people that there are 3 reasons I'm standing here today. 1, Lord Jesus God Almighty. The second thing is my wife. I was in the hospital and inpatient rehabbing stuff for 64 days. She was there for 62 of those 64 days. And she will absolutely tell you the 2 days that she wasn't there, things were not good. She got phone calls saying he's not doing good. The third thing is the thousands of prayers that were lifted up in my name while I was in the hospital. And I can tell you, I had people come up after me, after I got out and survived this ordeal, people I didn't even know that would come up and say, oh, you were the guy that I read the story about on Facebook. My wife documented every day on Facebook. More for her sanity than it was anything. She documented every day. And they said, man, I remember reading your story. I said, I prayed for you. I said, I know you did. The one thing that I do remember are the two things I do remember during that March 13th to about April 27th time frame. And I know about when it was, and the reason I know about when it was is because that's when things started improving, was it was right around the first part of April, probably about April 5th or April 6th in 2021. I remember I was laying in bed, but I was in a state of, I've called it several different things. I basically wasn't in a state, I wasn't seeing like a bright light or anything like that. But what I did see is I could see these things going from earth to heaven, and I figured out they were prayers. I told this story to one of my nurses when I was in inpatient rehab, and she started crying. She goes, God, I always was told, God doesn't hear words when you pray to him. He hears, that's music to his ears. And when she said that word, it clicked in my head. That's what was going up those strings from earth to heaven with musical notes. The second thing that I remember, and people have asked me, and I'll tell you right now, I do not know, because this part I don't remember, but I do remember my conversation with God about whether I wanted to live or die. And those two visible things are things that I like to share with everybody, because I feel like the more I can share, the more people can understand that there is a reason that we're here. Family is a big reason. I am blessed to have my daughter out here. I give her a hard time, telling her she's too slow, she's getting in my way of judging, things like that. But I am blessed to have her here. I'm blessed that she wants to come with Dad. She's 17 years old. How many 17-year-old kids want to hang out with their dad all the time? Not many. But she don't hang out with me all the time, but she doesn't hang out with me quite a bit. Okay? I'm very proud of her. I will tell you, these kids that are standing in this arena right here, they're going to make something of themselves. Because of 4-H, because of FFA. And that's not to say anything about we're having this discussion earlier. Our numbers have dropped off of the last 20 years in livestock shows. I'm going to tell you, my personal opinion, the main reason is there's too many activities out there for kids to be involved in now. You think 20 years ago, select sports wasn't a big deal. Select sports is huge now. But we can only do so much. I said she played club volleyball at one time, right? Well, she had to give up club volleyball to concentrate on animals, and when she got into high school and really got serious about FFA and 4-H, she gave up club volleyball because there was just no way physically or mentally we could do all of it. These kids have to learn to juggle, they have to learn to do the responsibilities, they have to learn time management. There's so many things that go into this. If your kid is in 4-H or FFA, encourage them. Don't force them, but encourage them to do as much as they possibly can. The reason, I will tell you right now, the reason she's standing right now where she's at, I don't know, you think about it. How many 17-year-olds can come stand in the arena amongst a bunch of people they don't know and talk with the way she talks? She talks better than I do half the time when she was on the microphone. Sometimes I get to rambling. But she was very concise and very complete in what she was given as far as reasons when it came to showmanship. That is indicative of her growing up, not as an activist kid, but as a kid that was involved in 4-H and FFA. She got started in 4-H, and the first thing she got involved with was livestock judging. Well, in 4-H livestock judging, if you know anything about 4-H, you have to give reasons. Most kids hate giving reasons. Not her. She loves to give reasons. That has made her the public speaker that she is today. She's very involved. She's very involved in FFA. She's very involved in 4-H. She is a TYLA, Texas Youth Livestock Association Poultry Ambassador for the state of Texas. I know we've got a couple others out here that are TYLA members, or TYLA ambassadors as well. But that program, if you've never checked into the ambassador program, whether it be livestock or water ambassador or poultry ambassador, or whatever the case may be, check into that on the 4-H level. Applications are due April 15th. Get an application in. It will change your kid's life. Now, most of the cases, they cannot apply for those types of ambassador programs until they're going into high school. So they have to be at least 14 and going into 9th grade. So if you're in that age range, think about it. Talk to your county agent, talk to your 4-H leader about it, because I will tell you the ambassador program is one of the best programs out there in the 4-H, and it's just a matter of the kids need to apply. Not everybody gets selected, but a vast majority of those kids will get selected, and it will change their life when it comes to preparing them for the next level, preparing them for college, preparing them for high school. And it'll make them a very well-spoken speaker because they have to learn to advocate. And ultimately, that's what she kind of decided her job was to do when she goes to college, is she wants to be an advocate. She wants to go out and she wants to advocate for agriculture. So I'm very proud of her. I'm very proud of the exhibitors out here. I have rambled long enough. I'm surprised you hadn't come over and kicked me and told me to stop talking, but you talk too much. At this point, we're going to give these exhibitors and families one more round of applause. We're going to make this as quick as possible when it comes to naming our grand champion and our reserve champion. When I hit these two, tins of birds, they blew me away, and they didn't change for the entire time when I was going through feeling the birds. Our grand champion is going to be this young lady over here. And sometimes I like to rotate my reserve, but today I didn't. My reserve is going to be this young man right here. From here, we're going to go third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and then we'll start over here and go seventh, eighth, all the way around. I really spent a lot more time talking to those on the outside, and I really appreciate the poultry committee giving me that opportunity, because I feel like those are the ones that I really need to talk to. The ones in the middle, they know what they're doing. They've done a great job raising birds. The ones on the outside need some encouragement. I'm here afterwards if you would like to come talk to me. One last thing I'd like to share with you, I'll try to make it as quick as possible. I judged the show in Angelina County about 4 or 5 years ago. I judged it the very first year, and I don't remember kids from year to year most of the time, but I judged it this first year, placed them like I always do, just like I did here. And I tell you this because I want y'all to think about this. Don't quit. Don't give up. Come back, work harder next year. The second year I went back and judged that show, little boy standing at the beginning of the line was like, "Do you remember me from last year?" I said, "No, sir, I don't, and I'm sorry, I don't." Judged a lot of shows to a lot of kids. He goes, "Well, last year you talked to me." He said, "I was last in the show last year, and I asked you, what can I do to get better?" And I told him what I would do to get better, what he needed to change in his program. He made those changes. He implemented those changes. And guess what? The second year he came back, he won the show. It can happen. You just have to make everything work together. With that being said, thank y'all very much. God bless y'all, and y'all have a great Leon County show.